G'day everyone, Jason Nunn, Fisherman's Warehouse, Tuckle Marks Point. This Friday's fishing report, obviously at the moment, up at Swansea Heads. Moon Island is our backdrop today. You can see there's still a little bit of swell around, guys, and obviously we had that little bit of a blow, but the forecast for Saturday and Sunday is unbelievable. Norwest winds tomorrow morning, turning to a nor'easter in the afternoon, and then a bit of a sou'wester Sunday morning, turning into an easterly. So we've just that little bit of a fluctuation. So it's not going to be too bad at all. And in fact, the sea conditions look very, very good. Offshore, out wide, water temperature around about 20.5 degrees out on the canyons off the shelf here, but very little current. In fact, right on the shelf line itself, virtually no current whatsoever. Out in about 150 fathoms, maybe about half and not to 3/4 of a knot only. So a very good time to get out there and have a bit of a look. With this bit of a wind that we're talking about and this bit of a fluctuation coming in on Sunday in particular, could be the better of the days to go down and have a bit of a look down at the Texas and chase some of those kings before these big nor'easters start. And of course, October, a key time down on the Texas for good quality kings, jigging and or live baiting or coming back onto the farm and chasing some of these snapper. And again, tomorrow, nor'west winds in the morning early, with a little bit of a nor'easter, ideal for that in the North Farm and certainly that CAU Farm area, fishing in around about 93 to 96 metres of water with a pick, and there have been some very nice reds there. Surprisingly enough this week though, and even though the water temperature's just creeping up to about 17.5, maybe 18 in patches, we've seen a bit of an increase in reds on the inshore reef. Stevie Slender and his son Grant, they had a fish a few days ago. Much to my surprise, Grant didn't catch any and Steve caught the lot, but they had some beautiful snapper and a trag just caught down here near Mawson. And of course, they had reds up to around about 53 centimetres, but got towelled up by a couple of very good fish. So now we're starting to see some very good reds on the inshore reefs. And this will be right the way through Catherine Hill Bay down to Waibung and back up basically from Redhead right the way through up to really Port Stephens, and certainly those shallow water reefs, Merriweather, Bar Beach, Dudley, those areas in particular hold a lot of that type of snapper, so it's ideal. You've got some great tides for morning fishing this weekend. 9 o'clock high tide and you've got a 3 o'clock low, so it's really moving around. That's a perfect tide for this. You've got a new moon going to come through on Sunday night, and of course you can still have an opportunity this weekend to get out there and have a bit of a crack on those prawns, because you've got that 3 o'clock low tide. So it means that you could probably get out there around about 12:30 even tonight, maybe towards 1, and prawn through for the early evening. I haven't had any reports yet, guys, of prawns or how many prawns came out of the estuary itself. There were a few boats around each night, not big significant numbers. Obviously our November run is the biggest of the year, but there were still a few guys dancing around out there at night with their lights. So I'll be curious to know how they go, but there's still enough time to get out there and have a bit of a dig. Been a few birds working on the island when we first got here, and I've got a funny feeling there are some big salmon around the island, because up on the Blacksmith's breakwater and down along our beaches at the moment, still holding big schools of big salmon, and they're 3 to 4 kilo stuff. Haven't seen a lot of whiting on the beaches, but there have been a few mulloway now getting on the beaches, and this is a good opportunity now as we build now and start to head to the next full moon over the next couple of weeks. A good opportunity to have a bit of a look. Rock fishing, still enough swell around at the moment, so I think that's ideal, and particularly over the weekend with those morning tides, to chase a few drummer or get down there and chase a few brim. I know there have been a few tailors still on the ocean rock platforms and a few kings as well. So it still gives the opportunity to rock fishing, but again, always check conditions. If you can, fish in pairs and always wear a life jacket. Safety first when you're rock fishing. The estuary, because of this prawn run, we've seen this bit of an increase in squid, but whiting fishing in particular, and really the pick is going to be tube worms, of course, and or live prawns if you can get out in that latter part of the AM to catch a few of these live prawns. We've got a fair few tubies in stock at the moment, but some beautiful whiting getting caught on the flats, mixed in with a lot of brim. Now some of these brim, guys, there's quite a few school brim around which you'd associate with this time of year, that smaller type fish under 30 centimetres, but there are some better ones, and the guys that are fishing in the evening doing much better. Still a few tailor around in the lake, not a lot of size though, 30s, 35s, the odd 40, and I heard I had a couple of guys catching a few in and around about that 45 to 50 centimetres, but they are patchy. Been some really nice mulloway around and some good kings, and there's been plenty of photographs and probably footage really of some of these kings that are getting caught in the lake. The bridge, of course, that's going to be pretty popular, particularly with the few squid that are in the channel. So, and that high tide on Saturday and Sunday. Yes, there are kings at the bridge. There's the odd salmon, the odd tailor as well, but there's some very good kings around, lake-wise and of course in the channel. Now this weekend, you've got the super boats up the top of the lake, so probably avoid that busy area over the weekend period, and we'll be centralised back in from probably say Belmont Bay south, and then utilising the channel. Next change, guys, comes through on Monday when we get another bit of a spike and a bit of a southerly. So Saturday, Sunday this weekend, absolutely perfect. So really, it's just a matter of getting out there, but there's plenty on offer. We came just up before the bridge there before. Quite a few guys still chasing luderick off a lot of the rock walls because there's still quite a lot of luderick around, but I really think it's going to be this inshore fishery for snapper this weekend, and of course up around the islands on those shallow flats, Salts Bay, looking at the low tide, the tide's sort of running out a little bit now as we're getting into lunchtime, so some really good whiting and brim on the flats. Everyone have a great weekend, play it safe, we'll see you next Friday.